Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today is Tuesday, January 14th, 2025, and this is the Daily AI Show. Today, we are talking about how far can you go on an AI using AI tools on a $0 budget. And I think, with at least with my research on this one, and I know what you guys are going to bring to the table as well. The answer is quite a bit, but you're going to have to hang on to see like all the different areas, I think, because I think there's some nooks and crannies here that people aren't necessarily thinking about. I have Beth, Andy, and I'm Brian. And today, like I said, we're going to dive into this. I think there's some obvious ones out there, which we should touch on. And then there's a lot of not obvious ones out there that people aren't thinking about. And ultimately, what I want to do before the end of the show is make sure if anybody's thinking about, hey, I think I want to start a side hustle. I think I might want to start a business, but I don't want to, necessarily leave my job. It's just something I want to do on the side, but I don't have any money to do it. How far can I go? And I think that'll be a really cool conversation to see if you truly wanted to start that side hustle and you needed the basics of starting a company. I think AI is going to get you pretty far here. So, all right, that's what we got going on today. Welcome to everybody in the chat that's showing up. We appreciate you. If you have any, by the way, if you're in the chat and you have any tips or tricks or free tools that you think are AI and fantastic, by all means, throw them in the chat and we'll make sure we share those as well. Good morning to CJ and Jude and Jen and Justin. Appreciate you guys all being here. Okay.
And I just want to jump in and say, I'm pretty sure today's episode is dedicated to Jude because I think Jude was
That's right.
I'm still not paying for anything. I'm on a $0 budget.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty astounding. Like, I think I don't know what you guys think, Andy or Beth, but like, I think in the back of your head. But I love that this show is a thing because it forced me to go look. And I was like, oh, that's right. They do have a free tier. Oh, that's right. They do have this. And so just a quick caveat and see if you guys agree on this before we get in the conversation. My criteria, and I assumed it would be the same for you guys, but I didn't double check, was that it couldn't be a free trial, that it actually had to be a free tool. Andy's saying yeah to that. Don't get me wrong. You can get, like, if you have a singular project you're trying to do and you can get a 14-day free trial, you're going to get it done, you can slam it with a good free trial. But for today's case, I figured these were more long-term, over and over use, at least monthly type things. What did you want to say, Andy?
A free tier, not free trial.
Yeah, that's the way I went with it too, because I saw some really good free trials and I thought, ooh, if you're on your mark and you know what you want to do and you're going to come in swinging, you can definitely time that free trial right. We've done it with the show, right? For tools and accessories for the show, we've done some free trials and knocked out some bigger parts of it. But you just got to be on it. It can't be something you sign up for and don't touch for 7 days, right? Something like that. So,
okay. Yes to that. And also, if there was a beta, I allowed beta because there are some great free tools in beta. And I don't know, maybe they'll have a free tier, but things that I couldn't find anywhere else. So yes.
I didn't think about betas, but yeah. That's a good point. But alphas or betas are, if you can get in the alphas, those are usually like the pre-list. I've been on a few of those along the way. But betas, like, sometimes what's great about that is that you're both helping the creator of the app, the software, or whatever, and you're getting something in return. And that could be a great place because a lot of times they need the reps too. They need, like, literally the repetitions. And so that can be a really way to do it. Yeah, like Jude's already put it in, like, yeah, free Perplexity. We'll definitely get to those. Funny enough, I didn't put Perplexity on my one screen when I was sharing it, but of course, yeah, Perplexity. Do we want to start with some of the big ones, the heavy hitters, and then we'll get into because I think we can move past those fairly quickly. Beth, I'm going to share my screen and we'll just do some show and tell here real quick.
Okay.
While you're prepping that, I'll just say that there's open source, which is generally speaking free. And there are some major open source players. And then there are the closed models, but almost every single one of the major closed models has a free tier. Yep. So you can try them all.
Okay, so I'm going to move through these fairly quickly because I don't want to take up too much time on it, but it's a good time to remind ourselves, what can you do for free with ChatGPT? Okay, that's the one that probably most people are thinking about. But if you weren't paying the Plus plan, right now you can get access to the GPT-4o mini model, standard voice mode, limited access to GPT-4o. So you're going to be, stopped at some point and it's going to say, hey, you have to wait X amount of hours or perhaps till tomorrow before you can do it again. Limited access to file uploads advanced data analysis, web browsing, and image generation. Use custom GPTs. So right away, the using custom GPT is pretty impressive. You'll notice it doesn't say create custom GPTs, but you can use them, and they're, for better or worse, or whatever you think, there are a ton of good free custom GPTs that are out there, that as long as you're looking through the little, GPT marketplace, you can find those, and that would cost you $0. You would just be limited by whatever your token limit is of that. So this has gotten a lot better. Any thoughts on this before? And by the way, you can now do this, a lot of it, without even signing in.
So one of the things that I'm going to say that for me, I found true all across the board is that if you're on the free plans, you need to be much more deliberate.
Mm,
Right? So I would likely experiment with something like Gemini's back end to like get my thoughts out and figure out what I want to do, and then come to the best tools, because using custom GPTs is awesome, but you don't get very many bites at the apple. So either you're learning across like a week of time because you're
mhm.
like getting timed out at things, or you've done something with something that you have much more access to for free to get you ready to like, okay, I'm gonna bang it out with ChatGPT now, I'm gonna bang it out with Claude.
Yeah, I think that's a solid point. And I wasn't going to do it next, but I switched over to Gemini really quickly. There's several different Gemini models, but if you can see here, Gemini 1.5 Flash, our fastest multimodal model with great performance for diverse repetitive tasks and 1 million context window, now generally available for production use. And if we go down to free or charge, the Gemini API free tier is offered through the API service with a lower rate limits for testing purposes. Google AI Studio usage is completely free in all available countries. So
Mhm.
a lot of bang for your buck there, especially if you're willing to mess around with the APIs. If you want to get into that, not everybody that's using AI for free is going to want to get into APIs. But back to
Yep.
Andy's point about open source and things like that, you're certainly going to get more tools if you're willing to do that, for sure.
Right. And the other piece of this, I think what I'm paying for is the ability to be messy and private when I pay
Mm,
for tools. If you are on the free plan, you don't, for the most part, get to choose not to train on your data.
right.
That's the exchange that you're making.
Yeah. Yeah. It's never free, right? Exactly. I'll do this one really quick. This is Claude. A lot of people are familiar with Anthropic. Claude does have a free plan. For free, individuals get to talk to Claude on the web, iOS, and Android, ask about images and docs, access one of our latest models, and it doesn't give you a ton more about what you get. I use oftentimes, unless I'm training on it, a lot of times I'll go back down to the free plan. You get enough to get started. I think, to use Claude, it's great, but I will frequently hit rate limits on it. But you can absolutely use it for free. But back to your point, Beth, about, not many bites of the apple. Now, one place you could get some bites of the apple, actually two places, are Grok, which I just downloaded the app for, and does not cost me a dime. Now, I don't know what my rate limits are on Grok because I haven't used it that much, but I will tell you, I am impressed with Grok on the app. Now, I guess I could use it here inside of X, but I'm not on X a ton. I just if Beth or Andy or Carl shares me, usually Beth or Carl share me a news story, I'll go click on the link, but I don't really mess around on X. However, the Grok model on the app, which was free, I downloaded it maybe 2 days ago, uh, is great because what it does is if I want updated information, let's say about like what's going on in AI right now, it will not only search news articles, it will search X, aka Twitter. And that could be huge because we know, at least in our business, that a lot of stuff is actually announced first on X. I think Carl was just saying that the other day. And so this gives me an ability to actually put a really smart search engine on top of that and then get some really good summaries. So I tested it today about recent AI stories this week, and it did a phenomenal job of bringing me back summaries of everything that's going on within the last couple of days. Totally free to use. Great resource. And then the last one I'll say before we pause and talk about other stuff is one that I don't think a lot of people think about, but that's Meta. Meta.ai. If you go to it, you do have to log in. So there's a trade in because you have to log in with your Facebook login. But I've used Meta many, many times. And in fact, I think if you start clear chat. Yeah, it looks like this when you start, but it'll basically ask you pretty quickly to log in. But just like Facebook, you're trading, I don't know, your soul, your ads, your whatever, your data. It's Facebook, it's Meta. But if we're just talking about a free tool to use, you can use this one, and it's actually very good. Meta's models, their llama models are very smart. And I use the free image generator on here for a really long time before I switched over to Follow and Flux, which does cost me money. But this is one I used when I was doing the thumbnails for months because it didn't cost me anything and I didn't have to subscribe to Midjourney or anything else. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing there because that's a lot of sharing. But I just wanted to hit the what can you search? What can you write a typical chat GPT type thread to? And I think, look, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, then Meta, and Grok. I mean,
Right.
and that's not even by far all of them, because there's plenty others that you can access for free, but that's top 5 top ones right there that are all really good models. Do you guys have any others that are in that category?
I'm trying to think. Andy, do you have something? I'm going to see if I can find it. You are muted, my friend.
What I was going to say is we've looked at the major players, and
Right.
all of them have a free access possibility for you. But there are also specific tools that kind of cluster around certain functions that you would likely use one of the AI models on one of the major sites for. And I'll give you an example. I think most people who are dabbling with AI and or working with it are going to be doing content generation, either text or images. And let's talk about the content creation around writing. Like if it's going to be a writing assistant for you, there are a number of free tools out there. For example, copy.ai is a free AI copywriting tool for generating marketing copy and blog posts and that sort of thing. So if you wanted to play with that kind of productivity hack, then try Copy AI. Write Sonic similarly has a free tier with 10,000 words per month, and that's for creating high quality content across 30 different languages. And then the last one I'll mention is Notion. Notion is a kind of a note-taking / database / publishing platform that's a very useful personal productivity tool. But in addition, it has a limited number of queries you can apply in their AI model right in the interface for Notion. So there's lots of places where you can start to play with AI, especially around content generation in writing, text, that are not necessarily going to one of the major models, but all of those options that Brian just went through, they're all fantastic. So there's no economic reason why you shouldn't be playing with AI at this point.
No.
Right.
100% no on that one. I forgot about Notion, so good call out. And I knew you guys were going to bring one. So I'd be like, oh, that's right. That's right. That one is free, or you can do a lot of stuff for free there. And look, they're all going to have, they want you to get into their ecosystem, love it, so you upgrade. So there's a lot of benefit to the company too. But yeah, Notion, not my favorite to work in, but a very, very good tool for all the things you can do in it.
So
did you find what you were looking for, Beth?
one other thing, I was thinking that Hugging Face had some free stuff that we could access, but not easily. So just go look if you want to.
There's actually a thing called Hugging Chat, which I think is much easier to access. And Hugging Chat is free access to chat interfaces to open source models that are on the Hugging Face platform. So yeah, Hugging Chat is a clear alternative.
That's what I was looking for. Thank you, Andy.
I forgot about Grok as well. GROQ, which is also a free tool that you can use. I think there's some limits on stuff on there as well, but I'm not sure now because ChatGPT is pretty blazing fast. Grok, GROK, is faster. GROQ, Grok, was the fastest back in there. They were basically saying we're the fastest, we have the lowest latency, and they did by a mile. I'm not sure if their moat has been closed up a bit or filled in a bit for that. I haven't played with them in a while. But please enjoy this fast AI interface demo powered by the Grok LPU. And we don't have to stay on this at the moment. I don't see anything on here that says like, oh, here's the cost or whatever. So my guess is you could probably use it. I did back in the day. I never paid for it. And you can use Grok with a Q as well. And as far as I remember, that name predated Grok from Elon Musk.
Yeah,
It did.
That's right. It seemed a little presumptuous of Elon Musk to take a name so similar to something that was already in the marketplace when they launched the XAI kind of chatbot.
It seemed presumptuous to do it. It didn't seem presumptuous for Elon Musk to do it because it would be expected. I like this. It's mine. Right.
Hey,
So,
Elon Musk may own TikTok here in a little bit, so he's going to have a lot of control, and he's buddying with our future president in the States. So yeah, we'll see how that all goes.
okay. So there's another writing one that no one's mentioned that I am just starting to use, and it's lex.page.
Oh, I know Lex. Yeah.
And it's a different writing tool, right? Like it's for me, I would go to the other models and like generate ideas and do kind of draft stuff and then pull it into Lex and actually like write, right? So that it makes sense, so that it goes across document or goes across pages. Because Lex, what is your experience with Lex, Brian?
Well, I think I was honestly in like a beta. I remember getting the early emails from the creator of Lex. I don't remember what his name is, but like you just get, emails and you could literally respond to him and he would respond back. This is going back about a year now, maybe more. And I always saw it as a nicer version of a Google Doc, like just an AI enhanced version of a Google Doc that just gave you a little bit more to play with in line. I think Google's moving that direction. So again, same thing. I like the tool. They've done a ton of updates to it. Great job for what they've done. I'm not sure where the mode is on that one either, because I think it could be absorbed pretty quickly with your Microsoft and Google and those types of documents and things. But I do like it. Yeah. You kind of want to root for the small team too, the underdog. Right. And that's an underdog story for sure,
Well, and the thing, because it's a writing tool, like I'm not getting football scores on the bottom of my search. Thank you, Perplexity. I would like that to go away. I pay you. Right.
Yeah.
Or like it's really well thought out if like you want a space to be focused on writing. I find that helpful. Cool.
Okay. So one that's maybe more editing, but could also be on the writing side. So I was debating whether it goes in here or not. And I'll just pull it up on my screen again, is Descript. So Descript does have a free tool. We've used it as far as the show here. And for the free side, it says you get for transcription, you get 1 hour maximum per month, which isn't bad, honestly, especially if you're going to start putting out shorts and stuff. 1 hour can go a really, really long way if you're being efficient with your time. So that's not so bad. You get 23 different languages. They can detect up to 8 speakers, multi-track. You get editing. You get unlimited projects, which is actually pretty cool. Dynamic captions, transitions, animations. You don't get custom fonts. And then you get a lot of, surprisingly, and I didn't know this, but you get a lot of what they call Underlord, which is their AI assistant, which is actually very cool. I used that quite a bit when I was doing some stuff for the show. And I won't read it all out here. You can kind of see it on screen, but green screen and filler word removal, which is great. That uhs and ums that you hear me say right now, it can get rid of. Or if I'm trying to come up with what I'm about to say to Andy, but I sort of pontificate a little bit and I go, wait, but hold on. And then I get to it. You can just get rid of all that so that it's a very clear, concise thought. Going back to whatever I was responding to Andy on. So you don't get other bigger things like eye contact and other translates and proofreading and blah, blah, blah. But you get quite a bit. I'm not sure if we would consider this content creation, but it certainly plays a huge role in the editing and betterment of creation. So sort of maybe kind of in this category as well. But Descript, awesome tool. And as you can see here, you get quite a bit, I think, for the free side of it.
Yeah, Descript is definitely a major go-to if you're doing anything with video. I want to bounce back, though, Brian, to hit one that I thought for sure you would mention because you've been a proponent of it before, and that is Poe.
Mm-hmm.
So Poe has an aggregation of multiple different models that under a very generous free tier you have access to. So you can play with multiple models on Poe. Poe is the service that came out from the company Quora, which is one of the major players out there in the sort of the content discovery space. That's a social media platform plus a place to get questions answered by a large community of very respectable commentators. So anyway, Poe has access to multiple models. Their free tier is 150 messages per month. That's a lot of messages if you're just a casual user. And it can do lots of different things. So one vote for Poe out there for free tools.
Yep. Yeah, there's another one that I'm impressed to see that they're still going and actually expanding. And I wasn't quite sure in the early days. I've said this many times before, but Rachel Woods, who sort of a mentor to us and started the we started the Daily AI Show. She started the AI Exchange, which is where we all met many moons ago at this point. But she talked about this tool Claude, and you can get it if you download this app Poe, and then you'll have access to Claude. And she thought Claude was really cool. And this, I'm talking about like early on, and nobody was talking about Claude anywhere, and you could not access it. There was no ability to get it in a Discord or something like that. So that's where I first used it. And it's probably where I first fell in love with it. I was like, oh, the writing is different. And people still say that to this day, like Claude's writing is that better? It's just, well, it is in some areas. It's just different and worth exploring, especially if you need help. Let's say back to our idea of building a business. You want to get a couple blog posts out there and stuff. You might get your genesis of an idea, back to your point, Beth, about being succinct about, what do you want to use your reps for? But then if you have a really good outline that you've sort of put together, you can pop it into Claude, or maybe get that outline in ChatGPT's free side and then pop it into Claude in order to get a really nice first draft of a blog on there. So yeah, 100% on that one.
The other thing that Poe offers is a custom GPT-like experience, but with whatever model you want. But you can share your like the custom GPT like the Poe, I don't know, the custom Poe PT thing that you've created. You can share that with other people who can access it on the free plan. And
that's right.
And for a while, that was not possible on OpenAI, and I believe Poe lets you do more with it than ChatGPT does. So that's another thing.
Are you guys ready to move on to like the multimedia side, images and things like that?
Ooh, 23 minutes in. Yes, let's move on.
Well, I think we're doing good. We've already shared a ton. So, but I knew today needed to be a little bit more fast paced because of probably how much there was. So I have one to share, but Beth, I always kind of feel like image generation is your sort of wheelhouse, and I learned a lot from you. So what do you have to share on this side of things?
So Midjourney does have a free tier, I believe, still, and that is my favorite, but I actually wouldn't start there. Grok and Meta have great image generation. And I think that if you're just looking for like play out some ideas, I would actually start with one of those two. Now, I understand if you're not participating in the giving value to the people who get value when you use those two tools. So that's a decision you need to make. But as pure image generation, you can get really far. And I know you know this, Brian, because you showed it to us. The Meta image generation generates as you're typing in.
Yes, it's very cool.
And the undo is like, delete that letter, right? Like, like maybe I like the potato better than the potato, and I can like it's an immediate like come back and do those kinds of things. I found that really exciting and really interesting to see the way that the model was trying to predict what I was going to want when I didn't know what I was going to want. So it felt like a real it felt like a real collaboration
because you're like, and the
right.
Pote. Yeah, you definitely start to break down your sentences to be like, to see what it'll do. And by the way, you didn't say it, but it'll give you 4 images. So if you do that and you find, oh, I really like this version, you'll get that one, but you'll also get 3 more that aren't identical. They're just in the realm of that, which is super cool.
It's going to give you square. Both of those are just going to give you like the Instagram square square image, but there are other things that we're going to talk about that will then give you outpainting, right? So that you can expand and fill in the rest of the details. Yeah. All right, Brian.
I have Leonardo on here. Leonardo has a generous free plan. And right now, but okay, this counts as my caveat for the free tier because they have a generous free plan. But right now, they also are giving you 150 images a day to go play with their flow state. And boy, should you go do that. Let me show you how cool flow state is. This is the future of image generation. Forget DALL-E 3 giving you 1 image at a time. Boo. I don't want 1 image at a time. I want 100 images at a time. And that's what flow state will give you. But like, okay, this is to play with it, but you also get lots of just basic image creation in Leonardo. So I just happen to be showing you the cooler side of it. But what did we say about a potato? What did we say? A red, like, I don't know, a red hot potato being thrown across a blue room. I don't know, just something silly, right? And then you'll notice over here, everything says automatic in style. I do have it currently set to 16:9, which Beth just talked about for meta because you can only get the square, and that can cause some problems. But we're just going to generate really quick. And up at the very top, you're going to see 0% of daily limit, and it just bumped to 3. So now look, first thing I can do is I can scroll down, and you see my daily limit going up here. I can just get more and more and more. But what's even cooler than that is, let's say I'm like, oh, that one is not what I was thinking, but I definitely want more like this. It pulls it up on the side here, and then it's going to just start generating, well, more in that style. So if you're the type of person that doesn't really want to get into prompting, but you just visually know what you like and what you don't like, then what you start doing is you come over here and it's like, oh, you wanted more paper craft because that was more like I wanted. And then I'm like, okay, this one's on fire. Let's give me more like this one. And we can keep going. I could just keep scrolling. And if I keep going, I'm going to use on my daily limit. So I'm not doing that. I'm not giving you guys on my daily limit.
Yeah.
I may want that later.
So that if we looked before he pulled off, that was 52% of the daily limit. So again, in this context, you really want to make sure you're ready when you're going to use the tool if you're doing it for free.
And just to be clear again, that's flow state. That's something they're giving everybody because it's their brand new tool. I think it's going to revolutionize how people do image creation. I honestly think they'll all go to something like this. Like you see how fast it's creating the images. It's not like you're sitting there for 30 seconds waiting for one DALL-E photo. These are coming up lightning fast, and it just allows you to play as opposed to thinking about the perfect prompt, you know, and I think that's really important. But just to be clear, the regular side of Leonardo has the free tier, has plenty of tools and things you can do to create images. So both sides of that.
Nice.
Any more do you guys have any? Because I don't know that I do free video, AI video generators.
Yes. But before we go there, I want to say that Canva is not your image generator, right? Free Canva is despite the fact that they own Leonardo now, and they're really good at a bunch of things. That's the don't go. That's my warning. Like it's just going to be disappointing. And they have outpainting, and it seems like that would be amazing too, because that's where we're doing our screenshot, our thumbnails.
Yeah.
But again, like it's just going to sort of degrade as it continues. And that is you can get so much further with other places.
Before we go on.
Yep.
Go ahead, Brian.
No, I was just going to say I do pay for Canva, but it's like I paid for the next. That was very southern. I paid for the next year. Hey, I've been in the South since '87. I paid for the next year of Canva and an annual plan, which we always warn people about doing, but it's because of the Leonardo. And I was like, ooh, you put
Yep.
flow state in Canva? Oh
Yeah.
my God, that's like the best tool ever. So I'm like, I'm just holding on and I'm like, come on, Canva, come around for me. Stop doing rap battles or whatever you were doing with your rap dancing last year with your glow up event and just put Leonardo flow state in Canva. And I think we're going to have a really, really powerful tool. So I got my fingers crossed for that one. Sorry.
Yeah, so a great testimony to the value of Canva overall. I didn't realize that you were paying for it, Brian, but if you're doing any kind of graphic arts development, Canva's an awesome place to work in, and it has a wide range of tools. It also, hot tip, if you're a nonprofit, it has a near free plan for you with all of the features.
That's
so
really cool.
Nonprofits I should pass that on to Ann Murphy. She may be aware of it, of course, but I want to make sure they know that. So
teachers, nonprofits, if you're in those categories, you can get some free stuff.
That's right. Now, in the open source realm, Stable Diffusion is one that's free. So you can do image gen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know it was free.
Yeah. Well, there is a free version of Stable Diffusion that you can use. Okay. And then on to video creation and editing.
And video Runway has a good free tier. Brian, did you do your Boss Baby example for the show on the free, or did you pay for a month?
Boss Baby might have been free. The other one that I did with the Who's on First parody definitely was not free.
Right.
That was like $30 by the time I was done with that.
So again, like if that's something that you are prepared for, you can actually do some interesting free stuff. That was my experience too. My first things were free. And Runway actually is a everything kind of platform. Runway can also do image generation, right? And then you can add motion to it with the motion brush and all those kinds of things. I just started paying for Runway recently. You could definitely get by with a bunch. Luma Labs Dream Machine.
Oh, good call out.
Also is very interesting as a free, and in that you'd set a keyframe for your beginning and your end pose, and then it would generate within it. I think the generation is 5 to 10 seconds. So again, with all of these, if you're on free, you're probably generating smaller pieces of your end result. But if all that you're looking for is something that like flies across the screen for 5 seconds or 3 seconds, like these are totally tools that you can get that you can do that with.
Is Luma Labs distinct from Lumen 5?
Yes.
So those are two different things.
I think so.
I think so too. Yeah, I don't do much in video, but Lumen 5 is a video creation platform that converts text into engaging videos. Yeah. And its free plan is ideal for marketing and educators. That's their blurb.
Yeah, and Lumen I think is much more for the enterprise market, or like junior enterprise market, where you're trying to create like really professional looking content, versus Luma Labs I think will animate anything that you put in from beginning to end. It's not purely, it's not trying to be a business marketing kind of tool. That was my memory of that.
Who was just asking for it? Jude was asking for the Who's on First thing. I'm going to put it in the private, and can you throw it in the chat? Ooh, that's a long. Okay. LinkedIn with their, source, medium, member, desktop, long, short, square, triangle. I mean, I get it, LinkedIn. You're trying to track down where it came from, but holy moly, like you make your URLs 5 pages long on there. Okay, thank you. If that doesn't work, Beth, I'll fix it.
Okay. Also, LinkedIn. Like I would say LinkedIn also is you're hearing a wave away from the free AI. You can use LinkedIn to write responses or to write your DMs. Like you can pull up a DM and it will write for you. My experience of those is that they're super obvious, right? Yeah. Like AI wrote it, and so Like it exists, but I wouldn't say that that's a good idea to use without some real thought put into it beforehand.
Okay, I have a couple more categories that we could go into. Of course, if you guys have categories, I have education. I have that I have at least one or two on. I have creating slides. I think there's an area there. And then also obviously just general search, which I mean, we mentioned it earlier, but we could talk about Perplexity and the free side of Perplexity if you want, and how powerful that can be on the AI side of things.
And pitch for Perplexity that in addition to being able to do very exhaustive research in real time on the web, aggregating lots of different sources and compiling those using LLMs, you can also pose questions just like you would to any LLM, and you can specify which LLM you're using. So for example, my Perplexity is currently set to Claude 3.5 Sonnet. I'm not certain that you can select the model on the free plan, however. So I'm a paid user, so I can select the model, but it's going to be, it's going to be using, a really competent model, for the free tier.
I believe their free tier is based off the Llama model set, and then Perplexity has done their own fine tuning over the top of it. I think I'm right on that. Don't quote me.
Yeah. So another category to add to the list that you've got is just audio tools that, for example, 11 Labs.
Oh, audio. Nice. Yeah.
And also music. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about both of those. I totally didn't think about audio. So yeah, what do you guys have there?
Well, first of all, 11 Labs is like the leader, I believe, in audio generation. And they have versatile AI tools, and you can do voiceovers, narration. You can basically could do translations. There's everything to be done. I don't use it because I don't do much video production and or audio production on my own as a single solopreneur. But 11 Labs would be the leader there, and they offer a free tool.
And I was just looking to see on the 11 Labs because I wasn't sure what was included. It says 10,000 credits limit for $0 per month. What's included? 10 minutes of ultra high quality text to speech per month. Again, if you're making shorts, that can go a long way. Generate speech in 32 languages, translate content with automatic dubbing. That's pretty cool on the free side. Create custom synthetic voices, generate sound effects, API access. So you get all of that on their free tier. And then they have a generous starter plan at $5 a month. I know we're not talking about that today, but a lot of times it's free or 20. It's like, ooh, that's a jump. But free to 5, and 5 gets you 30,000 credits per month. I mean, that's respectable, I think,
Yeah. Also in the audio space, but audio for music, there's a free tool called lalal.ai, LALAL, and it splits audio. So it'll take vocals and instruments out of a track, and you could then,
oh, nice,
remix those tracks if you wanted to. So if you're an audio editor or a musician, that's a free AI tool that can do some powerful things that wouldn't be available in Pro Tools, for example.
Right. That's awesome. I think I knew about that before, and then I forgot it, and now you're bringing it back in my head. Yeah. I also really like Suno and Udio. I think we decided it was Udio. And the free tiers are good for both, but I find if you really want to generate like music, you really want to be able to move through something and be happy with the end result in a single session. The paid tools are going to be slightly better for that. Like just to come in and do like, let's just do a verse of something to give an idea, then I find it's really good.
Yeah, a little quick, catchy, something. Again, if you're a small business, there's 1,000 use cases why you might want just something simple that could be done on the free side. By the way, too, look, this is just me, and I don't need to get on tangent on this, but I am just not impressed with Suno. I keep thinking like when people are like Suno, I'm like, have you been to Udio? Because it's far superior to me. So anyway, if you're out there and you're thinking like one or the other, all I would say is try both. Try the free sides of both of them. to make sure you're getting, whatever, try your prompt on both sides of it. I'm still really, really impressed with Udio can do, and they've come a long way just since the first times I used them to create some songs, because now you can intermix and you can chop things that you couldn't do before. So just a very cool audio tool. Any more on the audio side of things?
Not me.
Not
Okay.
for me. I want to go to automation, because for me, Make is like totally superior in the automation AI realm. Make will actually look at, like, you can chat with the Make bot. Again, you only have a couple of those, so you need to be really really specific about what you're doing. But if you are in the middle of doing an automation, you put your nodes together, and you're getting an error message and you have no idea what's happening, Make will give you the chat, and it will go and it will not only tell you what needed to be fixed, it will do the fix in the canvas, right? Like, it will actually go in and do it. And you can do that if you just, like, I don't know what I'm doing, build this for me, it will do that too. And
I love it.
I like that, because other tools do that, but they don't build what you want. For the most part, Make actually says, oh, I see where you're going. Yes, let's move these things together. So that was really helpful.
100% agree. Love Make. Love it over Zapier. I don't know if Zapier has anything on the free side. They probably do.
They do. Yeah.
So you could look there for automation as well. I didn't think to look that one up, but I always say I love Make. I just hate the name, because it makes it impossible to do YouTube video searches for how-tos in Make. Just try that. Just if you want to be nuts for a little bit, just try to find out how to do something in Make on YouTube. And then that'll tell you that we haven't reached AGI, because you will break YouTube in half. You'll bring it to its knees. It'll be crying, trying to figure out what it is that you want to make with Make in the Make.
Yes, I'm referring to Make as its nickname, because its full name, which you need to use anywhere that you're doing anything, is Make formerly Integromat. Right? There's not even any spaces when you say it, practically. Make formerly Integromat, because that limits the search, and now you're finding all the information you want.
And I mean, Integromat sounds like a laundromat to me, so I'm not saying that was a great name either. I just wish there'd been one more conversation in a conference room somewhere where they said, somebody goes, listen, I just want to bring up a point here. Have you guys tried to use the word Make for any search results? Like, I just would have started there in the conversation, and then maybe somebody would have been like, oh, maybe just a slightly different word, or make something, or make up, or not make up. That would be dumb, but you know what I mean? Like, make it just more.
You could make it worse. Makeup, right?
You could make it worse. Makeup, makeup tutorials. Oh my God, in YouTube. Okay, I have. It's a one-off, but I want to bring it up, which is Conmigo by Khan Academy. Now, okay, here's a caveat here. It isn't free for everybody, but we do have quite a bit of teachers out there, and you are a teacher, even if you don't do it necessarily as your profession, but you do at home is school for your own children. You can a lot of times qualify as being a teacher. You are your child's educator, and you may find that you have free access to Conmigo. Even if you don't, it's $4 per month. And I think after looking at this, I'm going to go pay it and go play with it. I realize that's not the show today, but I didn't realize how much Conmigo had come towards me. I thought it was still geared towards earlier education, elementary, middle school. Not the case. I mean, right on here, it's like talking about navigating college admissions. It's talking about advancing your career with coaching, honing your coding skills, and everything else inside of Conmigo. So I think I'm going to go pay that $4 and go play around with it. So not free, but the caveat is, if you're a teacher, or perhaps you're doing homeschooling and in charge of your own child's education, you may, I don't know, qualify for the free side of it. And that would be very, very cool, because Conmigo, I just have such an affection for what they're doing at Khan Academy. So helping just so many students, it really, to me, is that, or something like that, is the future of education, period. You know, it's just, I think that's where it's going. So anything on education, I know that's kind of a one-off, but
no, I have a super niche one that I want to remember to say, make sure that we say, which is running Python in the Google Colab universe. So you can, as just a Gmail person, you have a Gmail address, you have access to the Google Colab notebook backend. And those are Jupyter notebooks. Jupyter is spelled with a Y. And almost anything, and I'm going to say I use Perplexity for this, can write a pretty basic script for you that you can then go and set up in the Colab environment. And other things like actually have their Colab notebooks. It's one of the things that Anthropic did early on, right? Like, this is how you should write a prompt. We're just going to put up a Colab notebook for you. You can open it and then you can see what the ways that we're suggesting. That was before the console where it would write for you. But the Colab notebook has Gemini built in. So again, if you have an error that comes up in that, it's automatic that you can ask Gemini, and Gemini can tell you what the fix would be. And I think there's even an apply now, and so it will make the fix for you. But it is a really helpful way, and it's super generous. Like, I haven't hit the limit. The other thing just in case people are interested, is that you can switch the server that it's running on and go to T4, which is Google's like big, fast, powerful kind of stuff. And I used to do our transcripts through Gemini, through a Colab notebook that I had set up to be able to do that. So it is incredibly powerful.
And maybe one just throw in there, since this Google product, is Notebook LM, which we talked about many, many times before. Notebook LM is phenomenal and still free, and adding more features to it. So for anybody that doesn't know that, that was sort of the first time you heard a artificial podcast be created off of a PDF. That was more than likely Google Notebook LM. If you got your Spotify year in review, that was Google Notebook LM. There was an option there where you could have it. It wasn't great, but that was Google and LMM. Now, Justin is also bringing up one that I brought up in a news show, a Wednesday news show. Stanford's Storm creates lengthy Wikipedia articles for free. It simulates expert discussions, allowing agents to debate and refine the understanding of the product and high quality, in-depth content. Yes, go check out Storm. That is a very interesting research paper on what they've created there. And maybe sort of in the same category as a Notebook LM. There's been several others now. Aaron, who's not on today, was just sharing in the Slack channel about something that HeyGen offers. HeyGen's probably the leading one as far as like mimicking mouth movement and stuff like that. They've sort of combined with the podcast idea, and he was actually just demoing to us two people, not just the audio, but actually the video of two people having a conversation back and forth. And so you can always look at HeyGen and what they're doing with that. I don't know if HeyGen has, my guess is HeyGen wouldn't be free. It would be like free trial. I might be wrong on that though, but so go check out HeyGen. They may have some stuff there.
Let me clarify by just making a comparison between Notebook LM and Storm.
Okay.
So my go-to now, whenever I stumble across a paper or even a long article that I don't have time to read, but I want to know what's in it, is to take that, convert it into a PDF, put it into Notebook LM, and do a brief, they call it, a basic brief, or I forget what the thing is. They'll also do the podcast that you understand if you have time to listen to the podcast. But I'm trying to collapse time. Storm is if you want to create such a document. If you want to create from scratch a whole article or a whole research paper, that's what Storm will do for you. And it's an amazing process. You'll see it. It'll spit out, while it's generating this report for you, it'll spit out dozens and dozens of sources that it's considering as it assembles all of that information and then creates this full-fledged research paper and or article.
Nice. Justin says CoStorm is the updated version, and Brian is actually going to show that here.
Yeah, I'll just bring it up really quick. I know we're still moving along here, but exactly what Andy just said, get a Wikipedia-like report, and Justin said it first. On your topic with AI, Storm is a research prototype that supports interactive knowledge curation. It says get started here, and we can see this is all they really have on their starting page. But if we hit get started, what does it take us to? Oh, it just wants me to sign in. Okay. Okay. But that's anyway, go check out CoStorm. I remember reading about it and being like really, really impressed with it. So definitely something to check out there. I'm down to some bits and bots here. You know, do you have any other big categories or anything?
Presentations, Gamma.
Yep. I got Gamma on here.
And I don't know where Napkin goes, but napkin.ai creates like infographics or like illustrations, digital kind of illustrations. And I have found that though, like, it's unique. The images that it creates are recognizable if you're using this. Like, you can start to see what you can recognize it as a napkin illustration, but there isn't anything that just does this. And this, if you are someone who watches the show, we were talking about where will humans be in the creation of content. And we're moving between Lord of Creation, assistant to the regional AI, monkey fingers, and then we're just observing the content as it gets created. But that is something like Napkin is unique for me, and I think it's really helpful.
Yeah, I forgot about Napkin. I only heard about them recently, so that's a good reminder on there. Just up the one I have real quick, Beth, for the shared screen.
Mm-hmm. Here we go.
I don't know anything about this, so this is not something I can vouch for, but I was curious, could you host and put up a site for free using AI? Site 123 has that. I don't know how much AI is involved, but my point into doing this is to answer that question we started with at the top of the show, which is, and this may be a good place to be, unless Andy, you have any other free tools you want to make sure we get out there, but we've shown you a ton already. So now, if you're going to start a side hustle, I mean, you probably have already seen everything, but everything from hosting and putting up a website, but you got to have content. Well, we've talked about how to write blogs. You might have to have some video content. We've suggested several tools for that. Obviously, image generation, you have that. Need a plan for what you should be doing over the first 30, 60, 90 days. Use any of the ChatGPT, Claude tools to help you get started and putting a plan together with a calendar on what you should be doing specifically, if you wanted to, every single day of the week in order to move the needle forward. If you're worried about not staying active or on top of it, and you really want to have like a strong first 90 days, you could absolutely get it to output a great plan for you. Obviously, if you're going to start a business and you want to have to like start doing marketing, we've mentioned several tools for the marketing side of it. Oh, one I didn't mention, HubSpot. HubSpot has a free tier. You need a place to start putting out emails up to a certain level, free for as long as you stay underneath that level. Yes, it is going to have some branding on there. I think you're going to find that a lot of free tiers is the trade-off is you'll see some branded stuff. So HubSpot might say your email came from HubSpot or was sponsored, whatever. But nonetheless, if you just need to start getting and contacting and putting out information to potential clients and growing that client base, you could absolutely do that. Beth, you kind of mentioned LinkedIn, but LinkedIn it is free and it does have a lot of AI built into it. I wouldn't have even thought about that one. What else? What else am I missing as far as a business? If you're going to start a side hustle here, what other tools can you immediately go to help you out?
Streamlabs and Talk Studio have free levels as well, and that is how we're coming to you. We are paying for it, but there are pieces in this in that Streamlab has a whole universe that can plug in AI in various places.
If you're going to start a business of any kind at any scale, you need a logo. And there are a bunch of different free logo generators out there, and we use them to do the logo for the Daily AI show.
We did.
I don't recall what the name of that tool was, but you basically only do a logo once, or maybe you'll refine it later on. But go out and just search for a free logo generator, and you'll find them.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't remember what we used, but it would give us like 40 different options or whatever, like early on. You just keep generating more and more versions. And of course, we're playing with the AI and the thing. And I think if Jyunmi has his way, the logo will be changed soon. I fight him on that, but it's something Jyunmi and I go back and forth on. I'm sorry, I won't say anything more about it because he's not here to defend himself. But yeah, maybe some updates there. But I like what's on Beth's hat right now.
It's because this color is like super hard. The like turquoise color is super hard to print on anything in a way that makes that makes visual sense. So
no, that's fair. It's fair. Yeah, look, this is a business too. Like, we don't really think about the show as being a business, but it is. I mean, for people sort of a little peeked behind the scenes, it does have a lot of features and functionality. We've certainly had to do the finance side, which is what I thought you might say, Andy. There are finance AI tools out there that are specific for that, but also ChatGPT, right? Like, you can get pretty far on starting there. I don't know that I would take like investing advice off of ChatGPT, but you could certainly ask basic financial advice based on, what would be average costs, if I was going to do whatever or whatever. I mean, there's 1,000 questions you could ask to try to help.
And there are a host of custom GPTs out there that are freely accessible, that have been tuned with additional knowledge beyond what's in the pre-training that's in ChatGPT. So you go there if you wanted to do anything with related to accounting and finance.
Yeah, for sure. Not this business, but going way back to one of our first businesses, I did not know how to put together a profit and loss statement. And that was before AI. And I remember my wife and I doing our best to figure it out. And she eventually took that over for good reason. But I didn't know what a simple profit and loss statement looked like, and now I just think, oh, how easy that would be to probably use one of these tools that would damn near fill it out for you and just ask you simple questions like you were doing your taxes or something, like an H&R Block or something, where it just asks you. I think I've said I had CapCut on here, but that one hold because they're not very clear about what you can do for free or not. So as cool as CapCut is, I just don't know how far you can get on free and what is really a tier. And I think that's all. I have like so many tabs open, but I think I'm looking at them. I've covered all mine. Have you guys got any last ones?
Nope. I think that's good. I am writing in the chat. Tomorrow we have news. We are definitely talking about OpenAI's robotics announcement, and there's a new $450 reasoning model. Come and chat with us about it, because those are just things that happen over the weekend, like randomly. These were not expected drops or expected announcements, and the robotics one is kind of funny. So.
Yeah, looking forward to that as well. Don't forget to go to thedailyAIshow.com. You can sign up for the newsletter there as well. If you're looking for a really easy place to get everything you just heard us say and get written out with all the tools, that will be in the newsletter. The newsletter is great for things like that. And then diving deeper into the whys and the hows and the deeper dives and the looking around the corners of some of these topics. So it's free. Sign up for it. It's growing every single week. Subscriber base is growing every single week. Come be a part of it. I put a lot of effort into it every week and would love for you to see it. So that's it for today. Thank you for all the suggestions and things. I think we brought in some of them from the chat. Thanks to everybody in the chat, and we will see you tomorrow for the news. Until tomorrow. Bye.
All right, here we go.